Dr. Fortier, aka Baby God, he used his own sperm to inseminate dozens of fertility patients. Even those who came for a checkup, he somehow managed to inseminate them too. His dirty little secrets only came to light years after his death. But who and how was the truth discovered? Let's unfold the case of Dr. Quincy Fortier. A well-respected fertility doctor known as Quincy Fortier, he opened a women's hospital in Las Vegas in 1961 and was a pioneer of the community for the next 35 years. In 1991, he was named Nevada Physician of the Year by the Nevada State Medical Association. But nobody knew he was ruining the lives of many of his patients as he impregnated them with his sperm without their knowledge or consent. His story was later turned into a documentary film called Baby God, directed by Hannah Olsen. Kathy Holm was 22, married and living in Las Vegas. She had trouble conceiving, and one day, as she was watching TV, she came across Dr. Fortier's advert promising high IVF success rates. The couple then went to see Dr. Fortier, in which he said that IVF is incredibly simple. All he'll need to do is remove an egg from Kathy's ovaries and fertilize this with her husband's sperm in a laboratory. The fertilized egg, also known as an embryo, will then be returned to Kathy's womb to grow and develop. The couple fully trusted Dr. Fortier and agreed to proceed with the treatment. Kathy gave Dr. Fortier a sample of her husband's sperm, and eventually she was over the moon with her pregnancy. She successfully gave birth to her daughter Wendy in 1966. However, over time, she would look at Wendy and think it was really weird how she doesn't resemble her father's trait at all. Wendy was a detective in Clackamas County, Oregon Sheriff's Office. Decades later, in March 2018, Wendy brought herself an ancestry kit to celebrate her retirement, as she was hoping to get a comprehensive picture of her genealogy. The database showed Wendy's DNA matched out of dozens of people, which means these people are her siblings, either from her mother's side or her father's side. Wendy found this to be very strange, as she doesn't even have many cousins, let alone siblings. Wendy then went to ask her mum Kathy about this. Kathy then told her about the IVF treatments she's had in the past. At this point, Kathy also come to realize what Fortier had done to her, which also explains why Wendy doesn't resemble her father's trait at all. Wendy decided to investigate this further, and eventually she realized those people with high DNA similarities to hers had one thing in common. They too were test tube babies, and Dr. Fortier was their doctor, helping their mother to conceive. Upon further investigation, Wendy also found out in 2002, Dr. Fortier was sued by his own son who was living with him, Quincy Fortier Jr. He claimed he was sexually abused by his own father, Quincy Fortier, when he was about 3 to 4 years old, and he had witnessed his dad molesting his other siblings too. However, Dr. Fortier pleaded not guilty to this, and because it happened several years ago and there was a lack of evidence to prove this, so he was not found guilty. Wendy also found out that in 1996, Mary Craddock, who's a former patient of Fortier, sued him for inseminating her with his sperms during her visits in 1974 to 1976. She thought it was her husband's sperms that were being used, but DNA testing confirmed Fortier as the father of those 2 children. During the trial, a settlement was reached with an alleged agreement to prevent them from speaking publicly about his crime. Unlike his fertility patients, a lady named Dorothy, who is now in her 90s, says she went to visit Fortier as she wasn't feeling very well and she believed she was being treated for an infection. However, she later gave birth to Mike Otis, and it was confirmed Fortier was his biological father. Dorothy said, "I wasn't even looking to have a baby. I wasn't wanting a baby at that time. You know, my life may have been very different if it wasn't for Fortier." Fortier's son, named Quincy Fortier Jr., was asked how many siblings he thinks he has. He replied with, "Hundreds, plural, lots and lots. My father was real busy." After Wendy gathered all this information on Dr. Fortier, it was very clear to her mum Kathy was also a victim. Wendy started her career as an office specialist in Clackamas County Sheriff's Office in 1984. 4 years later, she was promoted to deputy sheriff and worked in the patrol division, acted as a field training officer, and served as public information officer during her time as a deputy. In 1988, she was promoted to the rank of detective and served as a major crime detective until 2005. Later in May 2006, she was promoted to the rank of sergeant. Her career was going very well, onwards and upwards since she started, and in 2009 she was promoted to the rank of lieutenant, where she served as a patrol watch commander. She was also named as Outstanding Task Force Commander in 2011. And furthermore, in March 2014, she was promoted to captain and assigned to the Support Services Division. She had a stunning career, gifted with intelligence. She found this to be weird as her parents had average intelligence, but her continuous promotion at work made her query, why might this be? But after she discovered she was Dr. Fortier's daughter, things started to make sense, and her next question was, how many siblings does she actually have? She then decided to email her siblings, of which one of them was Dr. Brad Golgo. He was an engineer and scientist. He found this hard to believe, and the fact Dr. Fortier and his father were good friends who served together in Civil Air Patrol made it even harder for him to accept. His father had long admired Dr. Fortier and trusted him. When it comes to how Brad feels about Dr. Fortier, he said, "I think I'm still struggling with that. I don't know where I'll end up." But Fortier's dark secrets doesn't stop here. There's been allegations of him abusing his stepchildren, Connie Fortier. She ended up being pregnant at 17. Dr. Fortier said he wanted to make sure that she's healthy, so needed to conduct a body check on her, but in fact his goal was to inseminate her. And that's exactly what he did. Connie then fell pregnant and gave birth to Jonathan in 1965. When Jonathan grew up, he learned about the situation and confronted his father, Dr. Fortier, but he simply said he used 2 cotton swabs, of which one of them had his sperm, which he then placed in Connie's womb. Jonathan was lost for words when he heard this, and he felt extremely angry and frustrated with what Fortier had done. Dr. Fortier passed away in 2006 at the age of 94. He has at least 26 children as of now, in the age range of 30 to 70 years old. Unfortunately, this isn't the only case, and there has been at least 24 American doctors known to have inseminated their patient, with the most widely covered case of Donald Klein in Indianapolis fathering at least 50 children. Thank you so much for watching. Please do subscribe, hit the bell next to it so you're notified every time I upload a new video. Share this with your friends and click here to watch another video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.